Good morning, grade 6. Welcome back to grade 6 mathematics class. Hope you all are doing great today. Let's start a new chapter today, chapter 16, data handling. So this chapter is all about data and how we can handle this data. So what is this data and data handling? Imagine we want to collect some information about something. How would we collect this information? We may take some measurements, we may do some research, we may do some analysis, and we may observe and we gather information for the required purpose. So the information thus gathered or the information thus collected is called data. And this data may be facts or figures, a number, an observation, or a general description of something. So we may collect this data, we may do some processing on it, and we can present this data so that it might be helpful for others. So this whole process is called data handling. So what is data handling? Data handling is the process of gathering, recording, and presenting information in a way that is helpful to others. And data is usually represented in the form of pictographs, bar graphs, pie charts, line graphs, etc. So these are the different types of visual representation techniques for representing data in various forms. We'll learn more about these representations in detail later in this chapter. Now let's have a look at a few examples of the different visual representation techniques for data. So here what you see is called a pictograph. This is a way to represent data using pictures or symbols. Here you can see a picture or symbol is used to represent some kind of data or some kind of information. Now, what you see here is called a bar graph. Here we make use of rectangular bars to represent some kind of data. Now, the next one. This is called a pie chart. This is a kind of a circular graph. So here, data is represented as parts of a whole. Now, what you see here is called a line graph. This is usually used to represent the change to data over a period of time. And we make use of certain points of data which are connected using line segments. So these are just examples of how we can visually represent the data that we collected. We'll learn more about these representations later in this chapter. So in general, we can say data handling has a few steps. The first step is to clearly identify and define the purpose of collecting the data. Now the second step is the actual collection of data. Once you have collected the data, you can do some processing on it and then you can present the data using various representation techniques. So once you have the data presented in a meaningful and easy way, you can look into the data or analyze the data and derive a conclusion or inference from it. Or you can find the solution to the given problem. So these are the general steps involved in data handling. Now let's have a look at a few terms which are frequently used in the process of data handling. The first one, statistics. So this is the branch of mathematics that deals with data handling. The next one is data. So this is the information that you gathered or collected from a source for a particular purpose. The next one is raw data. So the data is raw when you have collected the data and you haven't done any processing to it yet. So the unprocessed data that you collected is called the raw data. Now the range. This is the difference between the highest and the lowest values in the data you collected. So these are just a few terms that you frequently use in data handling. I hope these terms are clear to you. Now, in page number 233 of your textbook, you have a flashback exercise. All of you please go to the flashback exercise and work it out. So that's all for today, children. Let's meet in the next class to learn more about data. Till then, bye.